Joining me on the line right now is Ben Fanelli, who's just finished playing his season with the Kitchener Rangers of the Ontario Hockey League. And Ben's story, of any kind of story, you're going to hear about endurance, courage, heart, any one of those words. And I'll just preface it a bit, and then we'll get right into talking with Ben. When he was playing in his rookie year with the Kitchener Rangers, 7 games into his career, he was hit violently, and his head suffered a very violent, it was very violent, and the damage to his brain and to his head was significant to the point that Ben couldn't play the rest of the year and missed, I think it was all of the next year, just recovering from the trauma to his brain. But he played the last 2 years, and it's incredible how he's come back and what he's done to spread the word about brain injuries and brain injury awareness. Ben, first of all, thanks for joining me this morning, and congratulations on just winning the Ontario Hockey League Dan Snyder Award for humanitarianism. You must feel pretty good about, well, first of all, what you did with your career, both coming back from the injury, but just being able to spread the word about brain injury.
Yeah, I really appreciate, and, it's quite humbling to receive that award just because, so many guys do stuff off the ice, and, I was lucky enough to have the support of the Rangers to start my own charity, which kind of helped me out, I think, with the, chances of winning the award, and, that they put in, just makes me work even harder for it. And, it's been, a lot of work over the years, but I enjoy giving back. I mean, I was given a second chance and a second opportunity, and if I can do that for other people that go through brain injuries, head injuries, I'll take that chance every day. So, yeah, I do, really everything I can with how busy I am to help out.
Now, we've just shown a clip, and probably don't need to show it anymore, the actual incident. Have you watched it, or is it one of those things you just really don't want to see it ever?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times. Just when, I've been out for dinner sometimes, a couple times it'll come up randomly on, Sportsnet or whatever it may be. And because the topic of head injuries is so big these days, it's constantly on the TV. So, yeah, it comes up every once in a while, and I've seen it a couple times. But, it doesn't really feel like it's me, and it's, not really a problem to see, but it's not something I go and watch often.
Do you have any residual effects from the actual incident, or are you basically, has your brain adjusted to what happened, and the rehabilitation basically made you just basically as if it didn't happen? Yeah,
that's pretty much what it is. I mean, I have no side effects at all or anything. I've been, gone back to the exact same person and lifestyle I had before, so it's quite a blessing for sure. And no doctors really had an explanation for it, but I just, I'm going to go with it. It's unbelievable that I am where I am today.
How long did it take to get over it? Because as I said, you missed, the rest of that season and the season afterwards. Was it just basically your brain just needed to settle, or you were told not to get into any kind of physical contact, or was there just problems as a result, just the recovery process?
I was ready to go the following season for sure. Even towards the end of my first year I got hurt, it was just more precautionary, and as a family we thought, you know what, we'll wait and see, and if I still want to, and after another year off, then I'll give it a go if I still want to, and that's what we did. I mean, I was ready to go the next season. It was just an idea of being extra cautious, and it turned out to it worked out that way. So yeah, I was ready to go actually quite quickly. I was home and working out within 2-3 months. So yeah, it was all just extra caution.
And yet, if I look now at the last 2 seasons, you almost played the full 68-game schedule, as I understand it. I don't know the last time a Kitchener Ranger had played the full 68-game schedule. I think it'd been a couple years or something like that. But you've really, really recovered fully to the point where physically, mentally, whatever it is, emotionally, you have made that full recovery and played some significant minutes for the team to the point you became, one of their more important defensemen.
Yeah, that's a great feeling too. It's one thing my head coach said at the end of the season last year and beginning of the season this year is it's not a feel-good story anymore. It's about, it's back to me having an opportunity and giving myself a chance to play professional hockey somewhere. And, that's, that's amazing to me, and for the coaches to trust me and, you know, play me as much as I've been playing this past season, it's an amazing feeling.
You, I guess you were eligible for the draft last year. You went through, no one claimed you or no one selected you. You're eligible again for the draft this year. I think I read somewhere, and maybe Steve Spott may have even said it, that he believes that even if you don't get selected, some team will claim you or will sign you as a free agent. What are your thoughts about playing pro hockey?
I mean, it's the same as probably every other kid in the Ontario Hockey League or, you know, junior leagues around everywhere in the world. I mean, everyone has that same dream, and mine's the exact same. I plan, you know, and am training and playing hockey to one day play professional hockey. And, you know, if I get drafted, I get drafted. If not, I know there's, you know, plenty of other routes to take to get to that point. And, you know, you know, there's always another day. So, you know, don't get picked, you move on, and you find another way, and that's, you know, that's what I plan to do.
How did you come up with the idea of starting the HeadStrong, which is the name of the foundation? And again, it's for brain injury awareness. If you want to know more about it, you can either go to the Kitchener Rangers website, or you can go to, you've got a Facebook site, HeadStrong. You've also got your Twitter account at B as in Bob, F as Ben Fanelli, for HeadStrong. So there's a lot of different ways people can access information about the charity/foundation. What was the genesis of starting it?
Well, like I said, I was, you know, I was ready to go my second year with the team, and, you know, we decided, you know, we'll give it another year off, and if we still want to do it, we'll go the next year. So I was training every day, practicing with the team every day, and, you know, I still felt like I wasn't doing enough. I mean, I was used to the constant go, and, you know, it was close to that with practice and school, but it just wasn't enough for me, and I wanted to, you know, add something else to my daily routine. And I planned that for about a week, and then I approached Steve Spott, and he liked the idea, and then we brought it to, you know, the PR team of our, you know, at the office, and they helped me produce, you know, HeadStrong, and worked with, you know, we had a couple ideas, and we decided to go with HeadStrong because of my, what my thoughts with Lance Armstrong. I mean, even now after what's happened, he's one, you know, probably the biggest, you know, idol in my life, and I always look up to him, and the team knew that, so they, you know, kind of put a spin on Livestrong and made HeadStrong. And then I decided to do a triathlon to kickstart things, and yeah, then I was really busy. I mean, I had school every day, and then practice, and then after practice I would either be in the pool, on the bike, or running the track up top the rink. So yeah, then I was really busy, and that's how I wanted it to be. So everything, it was a win-win. It was a win for, you know, raising money for a good cause, and for myself, to keep myself busy.
What is the cause? What are you trying to do? I mean, you're raising money, but specifically, what are the goals, the objectives, the intentions of HeadStrong, and will HeadStrong continue, you know, beyond just the fact that you're now going to be hopefully going into the pro level? Like, what do you want to do with the foundation?
I definitely want to keep it going, and I believe, you know, there's a good chance I will be. David Clarkson still has his Clarkie's Kids running through the Kitchener Rangers, even though he's, you know, he's playing in the NHL now. So I really plan to keep it going. And the other thing is, the main goal is just to spread awareness. The funds and everything are, you know, a bonus, and they're great. The support is absolutely outstanding, and at times overwhelming. But the main thing is the awareness, and that's what I think is also doing, you know, quite well. People make comments to me, or I see kids doing their own little fundraisers, and as much as they're raising money, they're always spreading the word. People want to hear about it and stuff like that. And I think that's what it is. You know, a lot of people don't understand how serious head injuries are. A lot of people just, you know, brush them off and keep going and stuff like that. So I think it's mainly awareness, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of helping out with that.
When you talk about brain injuries, head injuries, we talk about concussions, and yet in your particular incident, and you'd have to describe it to me, was it a severe grade of concussion, or was it something more than that? Because people don't understand a lot about concussions, and they probably really don't even understand the full extent of what really happened to you through that collision.
Yeah, it was you should say it's just a head injury, like you know, I won't get into details, but yeah, a pretty severe concussion.
And again, Are you trying through this foundation, because when you say brain injury awareness, and then you talk about concussions, I don't think people kind of really put the two together. Concussions is this word out there, but it's a brain injury. And are you trying to educate people, not just you, but as the foundation trying to educate people about not only about concussions, but how to treat them? Because you said you took the full second year off, just through talking to your parents, your family, or whomever, to really give your brain sufficient time to recover from the trauma, which it seems that sometimes when we learn more about concussions, either athletes aren't giving themselves enough time, or perhaps they're feeling pressure from their organizations to rush back to play again before they're fully ready.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's, and now you see guys, they have more protocol, teams have different protocol and things like that with head injuries, and a concussion is a head injury, and that's what people are starting to realize. And I think, that doesn't have to do with HeadStrong itself, but I think that has to do with everyone becoming more aware and understanding more, and people are, taking more time with it, and I think that's a great thing. I mean, it's a sport we love, and it happens in, all areas of life that head injuries occur, but, it's one thing you have to realize can be part of it and how to deal with it properly.
I'm going to ask you a very difficult question. I hope you can understand where I'm coming from this, but the player that did this to you, have you ever had a chance to talk to him, or have you guys ever just come to sort of conclusion to the whole thing? Because this is something that was a very negative thing that happened in your life, but clearly it seems like you've turned it into a positive. You've done some wonderful things because of this, and yet nobody in their right mind would want to go through what you went through.
Yeah, it was, an unfortunate situation, and, that's the risk of playing hockey. And, I've kind of just not even thought about the situation now. I've put it behind me and just, I was near rock bottom there and blocked everything out. I had tunnel vision on playing hockey again and didn't worry about, anything else. And I think that's what, worked best for me. I had no distractions, just one goal, and that's what I worked towards, and blocked everything else out. So that was my mindset, and, still is today.
And it seems like it's to be that mentally strong, where you're going to go forth in your career, whether it's in hockey, whatever else, if you've got mental toughness, it's something that can be as important as anything, because, life does deal, with unfortunate things, and clearly you've taken what happened to you and become mentally tough. Do you try to talk to people, whether they're young kids or anybody who's gone through some sort of traumatic injury with their brain, to help them to develop that mental toughness? Yeah,
I think it's a goal that, I might not have learned my whole life if I didn't go through what I went through, and it's something that I would definitely want to, help other people with. And funny you bring it up about stuff to do in the future if hockey doesn't work out. I plan to get into psychology and sports psychology, and, have that opportunity to talk to kids and players, even pros maybe one day, with dealing with, situations, whether it be game stuff or mental toughness or coming back from injury, So, yeah, it's definitely something I look into doing in the future.
Well, again, Ben, your story is phenomenal. I mean, it's you read so many stories in sports, and I want to commend you just where you mentioned the part about Lance Armstrong. I mean, some people would have a hard time separating the two, and yet you're able to maintain that focus of what he meant to you and what you're trying to do with your foundation, and separating Lance Armstrong, the athlete, Lance Armstrong, the individual, regardless of what he did, he became an inspirational figure for a lot of people who went through cancer, and you certainly has been an inspirational figure to you. Again, just tell people about, if they want to learn more about HeadStrong, how can they get information about it, or if they wanted to reach you, how would they go about doing that?
Well, there's always the Kitchener website, which has links for everything, and there's always HeadStrong stuff going on there, which is, you find links and stuff on that webpage, and also the Facebook page, which is also through the Ranger website. And then lastly, I'm always updating my Twitter feed, which is BF, the number 4, and then HeadStrong. And, I try to keep people updated on there. A couple of tweets here and there about what I'm up to, but usually I try to keep it to just HeadStrong stuff. And, that's where all the updates are, and, events that are occurring, and people can keep